Hi everyone, welcome to BullCaster, a talk show for all crypto bulls. Here we are to discuss the most exciting industry topics with the best industry experts, influencers, and remarkable personalities. I'm Constantin Kogan, co-founder of BullPerks. We're excited to welcome the guests for today, meet David Orban, the managing advisor of Beyond Enterprises, an AI and blockchain advisory firm. David's technical background is in artificial intelligence, and he's an early adopter of Bitcoin. He's an author of Something New on the role of AI and how it changes society, and is a frequent keynote speaker on the topic of conferences, across the world. His personal motto is, "What is the question?" And I should be asking. And really excited to have you here, David. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we'll go straight forward to the first question, right? Because we want to do it like dynamic, not boring, and make sure that the people who are listening to us have the maximum value from this podcast. Could you tell us about your journey into AI and blockchain? How did it all start?
Well, both of these industries are white hot these days, and they are changing the world as we speak. But a lot of people don't realize that AI actually started 70 years ago or more. Now, I didn't, but still my start in AI was in the previous millennium. And already then we were experimenting with the tools that now through deep learning, transformers, large language models, the power of neural networks we are employing. I was part of the team that designed Singularity University at the NASA Research Park about 15 years ago. And there we study and teach how exponential technologies are changing the world. I then published a thesis about how this is leading to decentralization. And of course, when Bitcoin came about, decentralizing finance and payments and revolutionizing the financial infrastructure planet-wide, for me, it was the fulfilling of an expectation. That is why I recognized it as being very important and have been with it since.
No, that's definitely beautiful. And, there's a lot of speculation right now going on in the industry about it because AI is a big trend after ChatGPT right now, the success. And can you explain to our audience, what is the actual coevolution of AI and blockchain technology, and how do they complement each other?
What is very important to understand is that these are extremely broad and deep infrastructural transformations. On one hand, for blockchain, you can think about it as the continuation of what in enterprise circles is called the digital transformation of the economy. So if it is now pretty common, I hope, not to turn bits into analog data and then faxing someone the paper on the other side only for an order form to be scanned into the computer back again, which is what was happening in the 90s. Still, too many things go through this extremely inefficient journey rather than being digital and staying digital. And so what in the blockchain industry is called tokenization is something that is going to continue basically forever, as long as there are things that can be still tokenized, whether they are shares of a company or pieces of real estate or parts of the emerging digital economy that we are busy creating. And similarly, AI is infusing intelligence in every and any process that previously required a human component to oversee whether it even made sense. And of course, so many times our buggy software doesn't very much make sense. So there was a lot of human effort needed. Now, whether it is for computing resources, human talent, or financial resources, of course, these extremely important industries are competing. But at the same time, in terms of developing new business models, finding synergies around data management and how it can be enhanced in order to overcome what have been the limitations of what today we call Web 2.0. Or other examples like AI's ability to quickly analyze a smart contract and highlight vulnerabilities that could potentially elude human analysis. There are a myriad of ways that these two technologies and approaches are helping each other.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it, like a myriad of ways, and I'm sure the myriad of applications as well, right? So, but if we would try to maybe talk about a little bit of case studies or practical things, right? Let's talk about industries. What industries do you believe are best suited to benefit from the integration of AI? Let's say short term. What are the key opportunities, right? For like literally, we cannot predict the future, obviously, but let's say the coming 5 to 6 years?
In a very natural application of blockchain technologies is in finance, and there are a myriad of regulations that are overwhelming the ability of crypto projects to be compliant in the various jurisdictions because they rapidly change. So what could be better than having AI tools supporting the enhanced security, fraud detection, or improved regulatory compliance that all regular and reliable projects definitely need. Another industry is, for example, healthcare, where we are already seeing artificial intelligence in drug discovery, in assisting human physicians in diagnosing illnesses in patients. But that can be complemented by advanced data management practices where blockchain excels and where granular disclosures and tighter control on data prevents abuses that otherwise make healthcare applications less scalable and less desirable than could be in fulfilling their potential. And of course, there are many others. We are still making a huge effort in letting the world understand that Bitcoin's network is not wasting energy, is securing the transition of the world towards a financial infrastructure that is worthy of the ambitions of the 21st century, while at the same time, through its ability to disconnect any so-called mining activity from the grid when it needs the energy that otherwise would be dedicated to mining, it is actually making the grid more resilient. So an AI algorithm can manage to the millisecond this kind of load balancing to a degree that otherwise is not possible. And we are already seeing examples of this in the field where the smartest grids and the smartest operators are using blockchain and AI to deliver their users a superior experience at a lower cost.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like I've actually read research recently that yes, there are struggles for Bitcoin to go green, but there is actually like a huge percent, like of Bitcoin energy, like it's going to be renewable energy soon, and there's specific electrical, like hydro and many other options. So I just think people need to do more research before they criticize it, and to To touch a point on the AI, right? So that's like it's a hot topic right now. And a few weeks ago, Time Magazine published an article titled "Pausing AI Developments Isn't Enough. We need to shut it all down." Then Elon Musk also wrote a public letter that he's concerned about like the future of AI. Maybe we should just pause for a second. So, do you agree with this notion that AI development must be halted?
In the Future of Life Institute at the MIT is the author of that open letter, and Elon Musk, Yoshua Bengio, and others, including myself, are signatories. The letter itself it talks about something very specific. It says, let's pause the training and the deployment of next generation AI because we are not fully understanding the capabilities and the potential pitfalls that are lying dormant in the current models, and we cannot rush headfirst into the unknown. Very simply, if an iterative approach, for example, with Elon Musk's rockets at SpaceX is possible, you blow up the first, you blow up the second, you blow up the third, and each time you learn something until you have one that actually works. The same approach cannot be applied in this case because we do not have human civilization as a spare to put in the place of the one that we may end up destroying if we are not smart about very powerful AI as is being developed and deployed with our eyes closed. So after the letter received a lot of attention, there was, for example, the article that you mentioned, and the aims and ambitions of the author of the article, Eliezer Yudkowsky, are laudable in the sense that he's really vocal about highlighting the dangers. However, unfortunately, as he himself admits in the article, he doesn't have a solution because it doesn't seem to be possible to stop the progress of AI. And the open letter doesn't advocate for that. It asks for something that is very specific and could be heeded if we were to decide together in order to let, for example, regulators and policymakers at least have an attempt to catch up. Even OpenAI, who did not sign the open letter, are asking loudly for regulators to please help them so that hand in hand, these AI systems can be deployed and used and improved responsibly.
Oh, it's such a loaded topic. I'm even afraid to start to go there because I was also listening to the Lex Friedman and Sam Altman podcast for 2.5 hours where they discuss this in depth. I really recommend anyone who has a curiosity to learn more they raise a lot of really important questions. The derivatives of what you were talking about, and they have another talk. Friedman has a conversation with Yudkowsky also about what you were just talking about, and yeah, it's we will not go there because it's a fascinating topic, very scary one on the one hand, at the same time exciting. We live in a really interesting time. Now, not to also lose the track of what your achievements and what your role is right now, right, in the Beyond Enterprises. I want to learn more, like before we jump into the questions from the audience, as you're a managing advisor, right? So can you explain a little bit more what the firm does and how it differs from traditional advisory firms?
Sure. Beyond Enterprises was founded by my partner, Brady Assar, and we work with projects both in AI and blockchain to help them succeed. Really, this corresponds to an analysis and then the solution to their needs in many areas, from tokenization, token development, from the developing of the smart contracts or their software platforms, digital marketing, building and maintaining enthusiastic online communities. Underlying all is the strategic advisory we deliver that comes from our very deep and broad experience. And that is maybe an important differentiator. All the senior partners at Beyond Enterprises are entrepreneurs and operators that have real life experience. They are not career advisors that have the theoretical understanding and the smart way of putting it in recommendations how things should work, with all those plans that are brittle and fracture when the plans meet reality, but we actually know what we are talking about. And complementary to that, we have a very diversified industry experience, and we have clients in many different areas that we've helped through business development or understanding what are the right applications and the right business models that they want to develop, from finance to the luxury market to so many areas in between. We work with a relatively small number of clients each year, probably not more than 10. And over the course of the past 5 years, our clients went from 0 to over $4 billion of combined market cap.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Yeah, so we'll share the link if somebody wants to take a look. And the portfolio companies, we actually looked at some of the projects in early stages, the one that you helped a lot, so like at least 3 of them, right? So it's good to see familiar faces and names. We're very kind of efficient with our time, so I want to jump right into the questions from the audience, right? We have a lot of people who are joining from YouTube Live, Twitter Live, LinkedIn Live, so I'm just gonna go over directly to the questions. So I have Rafael Rayu from YouTube is asking, what are the benefits of using blockchain to power AI systems, and how can this be leveraged to create more secure and efficient solutions?
Today's most popular AI platform is completely centralized. OpenAI running on Azure, Microsoft servers, and we are either using it interactively as ChatGPT, or we are incorporating it in our programs through their API. And we have to ask ourselves if that is the best way, if we really want to trust the smart heart of tomorrow's global infrastructure to a centralized solution. Now, if you want to ask the Chinese, they will already tell you, no, that is not the answer. But as a matter of fact, there are other projects that are also aiming to decentralize AI. I can mention one, for example, SingularityNet, where I am the chairman of the supervisory board. And SingularityNet aims to create a platform for an ecosystem of AI applications in various verticals. And there are already half a dozen of these projects running inside the SingularityNet ecosystem, representing an alternative to the centralized approach. And I think that is a great way to make sure that the number of experiments that we are running increases in the search of finding what really works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. Now, I have Nakamoto-san from YouTube. How do you think the rise of AI and blockchain will affect the job market, and what types of roles do you see emerging in the future?
It is really an important question because it is almost certain that the pace of change, actually, what I call of these jolting technologies, where we are witnessing an increasing rate of acceleration, is exceeding the rate of both individual and organizational adaptability. And whether in biology or in history, when that happens, things dramatically break. But in the past, we had a lazy and convenient tool we called wars that could create a tabula rasa. Whoever lost was wrong, and they were dead. And the victors would write history and create whatever new would come.
Narratives.
But with thousands of nuclear warheads, that tool is unavailable to us. So we have to be really smart how we can create a human-compatible future and potentially go as radical as discussing and reconvening around a new social contract, where my value is not exclusively linked to the economic output that I am creating, so that when I become jobless, society tells me that I can go and die in a ditch. And the new social contract has to be inclusive. It has to work in order to assure a life and a future of dignity for individuals that, if you ask them, know that they are worthy. They are worthy of a life that they must be enabled to build. So this is a huge challenge. There are a few experiments. Some people believe that a universal basic income is the answer. Others are talking about new ways of linking the ownership of robots and advanced AI tools, soft or hard robots, if you wish, to the livelihood of people. So we still have to find what will work. But it is ever more clear that what we have today does not.
Concerning the UBI, I'm a big fan of this topic. I researched it a lot. Like one of the projects that I mentioned to you also was part of this endeavor. And it was an interesting reply. I don't know. I think Peter Diamandis wrote to Elon Musk on Twitter about the UBI, and his answer was like, no, I think something like that. No UBI before we get to AGI. It was a very interesting, concise, but very deep answer if you think about it, right? So, and yeah, we still have to research a lot of models before we even try them. But I agree with you. It's still a lot more uncertainties and misunderstanding of challenges. There's an interesting question also. NFT Ninja from Twitter is asking, how can AI and blockchain be used together to create more transparent and trustworthy supply chains? And what impact could this have on industries like food and pharmaceuticals?
So similarly to the challenges of the financial industry, manufacturing and supply chains also suffer from a lot of fraud, a lot of opaque processes, with the additional challenge that at least in theory, everything in finance today can be digital, except banknotes. And just as an aside, it's paradoxical that blockchain and crypto and Bitcoin are accused of facilitating fraud, while the best tool for that is still represented by good old banknotes. But back to supply chains and manufacturing, the additional issue is that they cannot, by definition, be digital only. And if you want to look at it at a more generalized fashion, it is the Oracle problem multiplied billionfold. How can you trust the inputs to the system and then expect the outputs to correspond to your expectations? So while blockchain can assure that after the tokenization part, the rest of the process corresponds to what you want, it cannot solve by itself the Oracle problem. So that is where I would apply AI analytics and a careful understanding of what are the lowest hanging fruits in order to show the power of this combination and let the best players of the system take advantage of what is possible. Chinese mothers today go to Australia to get infant formula for their children. They so profoundly distrust the Chinese food industry. Well, that is a very powerful example of how deep the problem is, and we urgently need to develop better solutions.
Totally. There is another question, which is more also on the challenging part, right? So Glitch Trap from YouTube is asking, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the coevolution in AI and blockchain, and how can they be overcome?
Well, I believe in the power of technology, but until we have autonomous AI and robots mining the asteroid belt and building a blockchain-based ecosystem that is potentially independent from Earth's concerns, definitely one of the most important challenges we have is increasing the rate of learning that each passionate and talented individual can acquire in order to understand what is actually going on in the world. I was literally today sitting with my father-in-law, who is over 80 years old, and I was showing him the SpaceX Falcon rockets landing, and I was showing him the Starship and telling him that the first orbital flight is going to be, if everything is going fine with the FAA next week, and how it is going to be capable of bringing 150 tons to orbit and 100 people to Mars, and an entire flotilla of 100 or 1,000 of them is expected in 10 years to really start wave after wave every 2 years of Martian colonization. And he knew nothing about it. And there are literally billions of people on the planet today who don't realize how rapidly the world is changing. And so thanks to people like you who put in the effort in order to spread the knowledge, but then also, I hope, bringing the enthusiasm and the passion of what we can build together as human civilization, that is an urgent and important task.
100%. I mean, I think this is one of the most important tasks. So it's growing so fast. We need to understand the consequences of what is happening, right? Probably I'll go with the last question because, I would love to learn more from you. But there's Mehmet Hussein from LinkedIn is asking, can AI and blockchain be used together to create more efficient and secure financial systems? And what impact could this have on the global economy? You talked a little bit about it, but yeah.
So the answer is definitely yes. However, paradoxically, it looks like some regulators around the world are not convinced that this shift is desirable. They are busy protecting the incumbents rather than letting the new system blossom and deliver those benefits.
Yes.
When computers on NASDAQ go on a weekend trip and shut down, or go to sleep during the night and you can't trade your shares, or when very reasonable transactions are blocked because of a completely opaque, by design, inscrutable financial system in the fiat on-ramps and off-ramps. Well, the question is not if it can be made more efficient, but what is stopping us from reaping those benefits as fast as we can.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. There's a lot of beautiful applications that can, and important applications that can change the world and make it more efficient and more resilient and more secure. David, I really want to do it more time, and maybe we should allocate like a few hours for this conversation. So much to learn from you. I want to say on a personal level, I really love on the ontological level, on the philosophical level, the narrative you bring to the people, that you are trying to incentivize people to ask the question, because sometimes the answer is not important, the question itself is more important. Really appreciate your work and would love to have you more. And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you for having me today, and I will be happy to come back.
Thank you. And thank you for for everyone who's joining BullCaster today. We're gonna see you in 2 weeks again at 12 p.m. EST on YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and LinkedIn Live. Thank you so much.